Well guys, what a spring it's been. Well, it ain't spring yet, but the bees are acting like it's spring. They're brooding up a lot. It's still cold. They're calling for snow and maybe some ice again tonight, 1 to 2 inches. And it's too cold to feed syrup, but the bees are brooding and they're running low on stores. So we're out here putting sugar blocks back on the bees. Checked today, the red maples are starting to bud. They're just little tiny buds getting going on them. So hopefully the cold weather don't kill them and we'll have a good natural pollen source coming in soon. We're going to be out here putting sugar bricks on these colonies, kind of look and see what they look like. We've got a couple that actually need some space, but I don't want to throw a super on them just yet because of the temperatures we're getting, especially at night. So we'll be closely monitoring these bees in the next week or so and looking forward to warmer temperatures, at least enough to where we can get some actual liquid feed on these colonies. We're tired of messing with sugar bricks. It's not our preferred way to feed bees anyway. It's a good emergency feed, but there's better options, and we like the liquid option the best because it's easier. So we wanted to bring you along. We're going to show you what we're doing. We'll talk a little bit about it. I do need to clarify one thing. A lady left a comment on our post about putting some sugar bricks on, and she said it looks like we're squishing a lot of bees. Indeed, we do squish some bees. It's unavoidable, but there's actually little bits of burr comb on the top bars that we leave intentionally to set sugar bricks on top of. So even though it looks like we're squishing a lot of bees, we're really not. There is burr comb that holds it up off the bees, and we try to smoke them down as much as possible. Yes, some bees do get squished and there's nothing you can do about it, but we try to minimize it the best we can, and that's one way we do it. We utilize the burr comb that the bees have built before we clean off the comb. So we'll bring you along. We'll show you what we're doing. Thanks for watching. On this colony, they got a lot of sugar. We're just going to give them a little bit more. Have to. What I'm doing is I basically just don't want these colonies to ever run into a place where there's not sugar on top of it. As you can see, this colony, they're definitely eating their sugar. And what we've got is the cluster over here to the side. We've got these internal feeders that we use. So we're just going to knock these off. We're not going to mess with that little cluster they got going on. We're just going to drop this sugar in here if we can get it, and still get the lid to close. They got some pollen. As you can tell, this colony here is a good sized cluster. They got plenty of sugar on top, but they've eaten most of the pollen supplement we gave them, so we're just going to give them a little bit more. Like I said, the red maples have started budding, but they're not blooming yet, so we're going to try to help these colonies as much as we can. And on this, I'm not going to go into the sugar and move them around too much. I'm just going to spread it out on the outskirts. Now there may be a few small hive beetles get into it, but we'll be back in this colony within a week. And whatever, if there's any larvae, which I doubt there will be with the temperatures, we'll clean it out. You can see they've ate most of their sugar block, almost all their pollen supplement. And this is what you got to watch out for whenever bees start brooding early, is there's not enough food in these singles to last these colonies sometimes when they start brooding early. So you have to be mindful of that and give them what they need. That's where the part of being a beekeeper comes into play. Mother Nature don't always do exactly what is the norm, and sometimes it's just plain cruel to things that's in the wild. So if we do our part as beekeepers, it really helps. I mean, we still lose bees, but without doing this, we would take significant losses due to starvation. I'm just going to lay this right on top. Right there. Move on. Like I said, you do want to minimize the amount of time you're in the colonies because of the cold, but it's better to get into them and feed them versus not getting into them. Most of your colonies that starve actually starve in the spring and not the winter, so keep that in mind.
They need any pollen?
Yeah. Sorry, B. These bees are clustered up real nice. They're eating all the sugar we put on last time, it looks like, except, I mean, most of it anyway. So they're going to get some more pollen supplement and another sugar block. And as you can see, the burr comb that we're setting it on right here, that gives the bees a little bit of space underneath it to walk around. Like I say, I'm sure we do squish some, and I understand that lady's concern by all means. But sometimes, I mean, it's just about impossible not to squish a little bit. It's either you squish a few maybe, or you let them starve, and I'd rather squish a few than lose the whole colony. That's a piece of burr comb. That's some sugar. And whatever they don't consume that's left over, we'll clean the bottom boards off in the spring. But they'll do a good job cleaning most of it out. More of the same with this. this colony, we're not going to add anything to it. They've still got some supplement. They've still got enough sugar to get them by for what I'd say a week or so. So we're good on this one. We're going to move on. This colony here, they're eating most of their sugar. They've got a little bit of pollen supplement that they're definitely consuming right there. This colony here is definitely a colony that could benefit from a double screen board. So we'll bring a double screen board out next time we're here. And we'll stick this colony over a good strong colony just to help them benefit with the heat and heat regulate through the spring. Like I say, we'll split most of these colonies pretty early. So they'll be pretty good.
Just some little pieces.
We're just going to take some little pieces of sugar in here to put on them. Nothing major. Kind of wash them out of the way there, or move them out of the way there. We'll close it back up. Bees everywhere on this one. Check for the queen on the lid. Gently take this reflective thinner cover off that we like to use. And the reason we like to use these is so we can, when bees get on our box and we're trying to put the lid on, we can use this to move the bees very gently, and it helps us avoid crushing any. Well, I say it helps us minimize crushing them. Yeah. And this colony's ate most of our pollen that we put on this hive, so they're going to get some more. They're also going to get another sugar block. This colony's always liked that feeder for some reason. I'm not real sure why. They've always kind of went to it. You can just put it in there, Corbin. Grab that piece too. Just stick it over here. That's good enough. What they don't eat, we'll clean out later.
Alright.
Try our best not to squish bees. And to keep them happy. We're beekeepers, not bee squishers. So we do the best we can do.
Be real gentle.
He's not talking very loud. He said be real gentle. See that cluster of bees right there? That's what he's being mindful for.
We'll put this.
Yeah, I'll break it too. You know what? I'll just put it right there. Move it as much as you can. And you can lay it on top of that. That's a good fit.
And we'll put, trying to fit these, put that little one right there. And then I'll try to fit that one just right in there. Right over them. Now, we're done here.
Another thing we're in a habit of doing, anytime we leave a bee yard, we always go back through and make sure all the lids are on and secured. We have had lids blow off. We've had raccoons take lids and dig into brood combs and everything else. We've got an upcoming video on dealing with nuisance wildlife in the bee yard, so stay tuned for that. It's pretty informative how we deal with raccoons and skunks. So wanted to bring you along and show you what we do. I know it's a lot of repetitive stuff. You've seen a lot of us feeding sugar blocks, but that's we have to do it. So we bring y'all along most of the times when we come out here. And if you have a large amount of colonies like we do, you're gonna have to feed them often, especially whenever the weather's not cooperating with you. So we would rather feed these colonies, and it gets repetitive. But if you're a beekeeper, you know that it can be repetitive stuff sometimes. So that's what we're doing today. We got 2 more yards to do, and we'll be done for this evening. Hey, we're back in another yard. Like I say, it is real monotonous work. We feel like sometimes this is all we get done is feeding these bees dry sugar, and we may look at running a deep and a medium. I did that years ago. I really like the singles, and I like the merits of the singles in the winter, but we spend a lot on feed, during this dearth, and also in the winter when they brood up early. So that's another thing we're looking at doing this spring. So just thought we'd bring you along. We wasn't going to video at this yard, but since we're here, Carson said he'd be glad to video. This is a small colony. As you can see, they got plenty of stores on it. They are over a double screen board, so we're going to close them up so they can keep what little bit of heat they've got in there. No need to add anything to this colony yet. We will check the bottom colony. And they're pretty set as far as stores go as well, so no need to do anything with this one. And this is a repurposed inner cover that we made a modified double screen board out of. It's not technically a double screen board, but it'll work just for heat. We just got another shipment of double screen boards in. I'll give you a review on those maybe later in the video. They came from Bob Binnie, and we were really happy with them. More of the same. This cluster's on top of a double screen board, really benefiting a little bit from the heat. So they have plenty of food. No need to go into it. We'll close them up. We do want to check the bottom colony though, just to see where they stand. Because if they run out of food, they can't heat the top for us. And that box is really heavy, so I'm sure they've got plenty of stores in that box. But the thing is, if that cluster can't move when it's cold, they have nothing on them if they eat all this food in the frame. This colony's still good. No need to check it, so we'll move on to the next one. That one's heavy. As you can see, this colony's consumed a lot of their sugar bricks, so we're going to put another one on this one. This colony likes to eat, but I'm okay with that. Healthy bees consume a lot of food, so if they want it, I'll feed it to them. But like I say, the merits of running singles are really great as far as your treatments go, and I think they overwinter better myself. But we spend a ton in feed. Our sugar bills, you don't even want to know what our sugar bill is. It's expensive. So that's one reason we're looking at running, because we have to feed continuously through the dearth. Unless we could leave a single or a medium super on them, but whenever we do that, it's time for our mite treatments when we pull honey, so we get better effects with our mite treatments running single boxes. But in the long run, it's going to be cheaper, and I think the bees are going to do better in our area running a deep and a medium. That's the way I learned beekeeping years ago, and everybody in our area ran a deep and a medium box. So we're going to go back to that and see how it goes. If we don't like it, we'll go back to singles. This is one of our dead outs. We just got to get this equipment up. See, they were on it. They were trying. They were trying to take advantage of it, but as you can see, there's still honey down in this frame. Plenty of honey. So that's just the way it goes. More than likely it was mites that resulted in a small cluster going into the winter, but I don't know what killed them. This colony has plenty of stores on it. I'm not concerned with them starving in the next week or so. So we're just gonna drop our smoker like that and close it up. You ever just have one of those days in the bee yard where everything just goes wrong? That's the kind of day I'm having today. Dropping sugar, dropping my smoker, losing my hive. It's just one of those days. And if you keep bees, you're gonna know what those days are like. These bees are usually aggravated. They don't like us getting home a lot. But as you can see, they could benefit from some sugar bricks and some pollen. Yeah, a little bit. Hey guys, another thing I want to talk to you real quick today is I mentioned we had to use inner covers this year because we ran out of double screen boards. We have them in our nuke yards. We've got them all over the place, so we had to get some more in, and our supplier that normally builds them for us is having trouble getting materials, so I outsource it. Now, I've used double screen boards for about 20 years now. They work really great, but the quality of the ones you can buy at most bee supply houses are subpar in my opinion. They have all these little doors on them that's not needed, and they rot, they fall out, and they warp. So we ordered some. We gave some Bob Binnie a try this year. I saw his on a lot of videos, and I have to say that his are superb to any double screen divider board that I've ever used. It's made out of solid HDO plywood. The whole thing's HDO. It's milled out perfectly. It's lined up in the center correctly. The screens are stapled in perfectly. It even came painted, which I wasn't expecting. So can't say enough good things about it. HDO plywood won't warp. I expect to get a decade or more use out of this. We might paint it. We'll definitely paint it around the edges here just to add a little more protection to it. But I just wanted to give a shout out, and the price is cheaper than some of the other supply houses. We did have them shipped, and we had to pay a little extra for shipping, but that's I mean, it was 100 and something pounds, so that's to be expected. But I just want to say, hey, if you're in the market for double screen boards, if his equipment is made as good as this, he'd be a good resource to buy some supplies from if you're looking for anything. We were just really impressed, and we know now we're going to quit having our guy make double screen boards for us, and we're going to buy these from here on out. So we hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching, and happy beekeeping.